why don't you think superheroes really exist?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, let's get rid of the cute hallmarks of the everyday superheroes, the ones that help the homeless and go visit the kids in the hospital. I think that's awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah.
But real superheroes, why isn't there a Batman yet?
So, like, I guess for us, we don't have superpowers. So, to your point, Batman would probably be the most realistic form of a superhero, a vigilante. I wonder if there are, but it's hushed.
Interesting.
You know, like
Yeah.
And I mean, technically, in our neighborhood over here, there's a sign on a pole that says "Crime Watch," and essentially the whole neighborhood are these like, I don't know, we're our own vigilantes where we call this number and hey, we see this crime going on and we report it.
Yeah.
Almost taking it into our own hands. But is that Batman? No, not at all.
I mean, you look at how popular superhero movies are.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a Comic-Con, people dress up as these people. Yeah. It's not exactly hard to do some of these like replica outfits where there are like bulletproof elements to them.
Sure.
Just wonder like, why isn't there that protector of Cleveland, protector of Cincinnati?
Right.
It's interesting. The city's so big, there has to be at least one person who's unstable enough to try it. You know?
I'm sure people have tried it. I think to the yin and yang, are there superhero or supervillain threats enough to even warrant having a superhero? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, global warming.
Jeez.
Wow, that's a tough one.
That is pretty tough, man. Yeah. That's an Avengers level threat.
I mean, it's a good question, and I wouldn't. I think Avengers, which I'm trying to think of what movie. It's after the fallout of Ultron, where it's Captain America: Civil War.
Civil War.
And they're kind of it's the first, at least for me, moment where they really start throwing in the political element of it, where it's this government body that's saying, all right, these superheroes are good, but also let's look at all the damages that they have done. We've talked about this in previous episodes where it's like, imagine coming home from work, or you're leaving work, you're exhausted, you're going to your car, and all of a sudden Hulk, just out of nowhere, is chasing this super villain, and he just smashes your car and leaves.
Right.
And then the real world implications of, all right, does my insurance cover that? Does S.H.I.E.L.D. cover that?
Yeah.
And as far as like Cleveland, I mean, from a jurisdictional standpoint, we even have like police officers fighting over, oh, this is my jurisdiction, and no, this is my jurisdiction, and then all of a sudden the sheriff comes in, and now the sheriff is part of the county. So even just from a jurisdictional standpoint, I feel like a superhero would be complex because we would probably try to throw him in under a law enforcement cape, for lack of better terms.
Yeah. That's
where my mind went. Where did yours go? Like, why don't you think we have superheroes?
You know how like back in the day, people would say, now I don't know if I'll live to see it in my lifetime, but in yours, you're gonna see flying cars. And you can say this for a lot of things, like not in my lifetime, but in yours, I bet you aliens show up, or we're gonna make it to Mars. These are all things people have probably said, whether they've come true or not. The thing for me, forget the aliens, forget everything.
Yeah.
Maybe not in my lifetime, but hopefully in the legacy I leave behind, if I have kids or whatever in their lifetime, hope that they can see superheroes, man. That would be so cool.
That would be cool. It'd also be terrifying.
It would be terrifying. I mean, imagine a roided up homie.
That's essentially what it would be.
It really would be. I mean, you and I see some dudes at the gym and we're like, whoa.
Right.
Like they are, and they're animals. They're there at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Huge, yeah.
I don't know. And then I think a lot of these people are really humble too, which actually surprises us. But there's probably some that have maybe a little bit of an ego to them. It's had to have crossed their mind, when they watch one of those movies, but like maybe that could be me. Maybe I could be Hawkeye or something.
Right.
It had to have. And the reason I asked the question is it crossed my mind all the time. I was like, why doesn't this exist yet? People joke and they say like Andrew Tate could be a great Batman. I highly disagree. I think maybe like a Dan Bilzerian could be a cool Batman.
Yeah.
But so like even if you take away like the figurehead side away from it, like who could be these people? But like you don't have to be as rich as Batman to be Batman, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
You know, you don't have to be a billionaire to create bulletproof armor. Maybe to have like a Batmobile, but that's the certified way to get caught too.
Yeah.
I feel like if there were to be a superhero, they'd have to really blend in, and they'd have to like not have some crazy flashy car. They'd probably drive something that's like all black with the tinted windows so nobody could see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just my brain went to how in the world did they not know Bruce Wayne was Batman? Because
Bunch of idiots.
like Gotham, it's the equivalent of New York, right?
Mhm.
Essentially.
Yeah.
There's way more to it, but it's kind of essentially New York. There's this vigilante masked who literally only operates in Gotham, pretty much. I mean, maybe in other movies and shows he's somewhere else, but like, let's just take The Dark Knight. He's essentially just in Gotham the whole time. From an accountant perspective, a big career for accountants is white collar crime. I feel like they'd be able to discover, all right, this is paper trail. This is Bruce Wayne. All right, we got him. Like, you know, like it's if Andrew Tate became Batman and we didn't know who Batman was, hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully Dan Bilzerian.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Regardless, he's gonna get found out eventually. But that's the cool thing of Batman though, because he never really does, which is cool. We have people who have superhuman abilities. Usain Bolt. I've never seen anyone run like him. It is unreal how fast and strong and powerful he is. But you think of the Flash or A-Train, he's just a human. Like it's very interesting. You have these athletes who can, like Zion Williamson. Have you ever heard of him?
I have, yeah.
A freak of nature, absolute freak of nature. But if Hulk showed up at his basketball game, it's all like it's done with. So we have so many limits. I think the only way we could become superhuman is sort of like the boys' path. There's this compound V or something like that where we're injecting in these children, these babies, to be super.
Yeah.
So, and then that brings in the implications too, like, well, what's the point? Right?
Sure. Yeah. To sell energy drinks and supplements.
The closest thing we have to
movies.
compound V is Red Bull.
Right. Yeah.
It gives you wings.
It does.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I think The Boys too it's a really good favorite show of mine. It's a really good show, and I'm glad you showed me it because I feel like that would probably be the more realistic interpretation of if we had superheroes, because if you are the strongest person in the world by a long shot, or you can fly, no one else can fly, and you can fly, you can shoot lasers out of your eyes and no one else can. I think absolute power corrupts absolutely. You're gonna be an absolute dick. Like you are. You might want to put on a face, but you're gonna be a dick. And Homelander was exactly that. So I don't know. I that's my cynical element. I'm sure there's. I don't know. That is my thought though.
Yeah.
What I guess if you had a power, what would it be?
Whoa! Yeah. Shoot! This is a great question.
That's like I feel like growing up, when you ask little kids.
This is a great question.
But it's as we get older that answer probably changes. What?
Yeah, so let's do this twofold.
They put compound V in you.
I'll say because I know for a fact what I would have wanted when I was a kid, and it's absolutely changed now that I'm older. And for you, I want to hear your answers to that too, from both elements, or like what, at least as a kid, like what sounded cool, or what you gravitated to. When I was younger, I wanted to. This sounds crazy. This might get a little too deep. I wanted the power of invisibility. And I thought it would be really cool to like sneak up on people. You and I have joked all the way back to episode 1 of UOMO.
Yeah.
One of our favorite activities, hanging out when we were 10 to probably 12 or 13, we love to spy on people.
Yeah.
That was our thing, and we would joke to like, I don't know, maybe we don't want our kids spying. 'Cause that's kind of like a creepy little thing to do looking back. Oh, I see my mom. She's cooking dinner. Wow.
Vincent, what kind of intel did you get down there? What kind of food was she making?
Right? Yeah. And like it's so silly looking back on it, but like you and I would just be snickering, be like,
it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And I think for me at the time, invisibility was a really cool one because it did allow me to be sneaky and whatnot. It would allow me to maybe infiltrate things after hours, and I just thought it was really cool. And as time went on, I think the moments in my life where maybe I was the most sad or maybe even frustrated is when I felt like people were treating me as if I was invisible or like I didn't quite, like I wasn't there, but I was clearly there. Just my opinion wasn't an account for, or people just didn't care that I was there. So for me, that's something that really hurt. So I think for people that want to have the power of invisibility, they have to be able to handle that pain. Right? You might overhear somebody say something about you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So that is something that I've definitely changed now. Would flying be cool? Absolutely. Would running fast be cool? Absolutely. Because then you can even, like Flash, you can run so fast that you can turn back time. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
So as far as like all the different powers to choose from, I don't think that there's any one that has particularly always jumped out to me that I thought was just really, really cool. If I am looking towards like my favorite superheroes, I do love Ant-Man, how he can shrink in size. That's cool. That's very situational.
Sure.
There's only so much you can do that with,
That's very situational.
Right? Maybe the cool thing is I could take one of those pin particles and I take my house and I throw it at my house. I have a pack-size house. And I never have to buy a hotel. And where I go, I can just throw that and...
It's way better than an RV.
Right?
Way better.
If only like the pilgrims, what are they like migrants? What are they when they like? It's a certain group that they don't have one particular resting place. They just travel.
Oh, gotcha. I know that the gypsies do that.
Okay.
But I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, they could benefit from that.
Yes.
But
they could.
One of my other favorite superheroes, one that I don't feel like I talk about enough. And it mostly comes from, like, I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie, and I feel like that's the most relevant thing about this character right now. But obviously, before that, I had all these comics to look at. I love the character Shazam. And have you ever seen the Shazam movie?
I've not.
Okay, so his superpower is, it's a kid, and then all he has to do is say the word Shazam, and then there's, like, the god of lightning gave him these powers, so Zeus, but it's not really Zeus, it's like DC's version. Because then Zeus is tied to Wonder Woman, and these two characters are not connected. They give him the power of Shazam, which in this case is this lightning god who's this giant buffed up dude. Imagine like Black Adam. Right?
I've definitely seen the trailers. This guy is this guy is he's vibrant too. It's like the red,
with the white and yellow. And Black Adam is traditionally his main arch enemy.
Really?
But now they're kind of taking a different spin with the Black Adam character. But what I like about that is he can be a kid, but like he could also be the superhero if he's getting picked on or to go save the day. Or there's so many times I feel like you and I maybe could relate to this. Something's going down and we want to help, but like we literally can't. There's only so much you can do. That's the definition of you never have to feel like you can't help because you're always able to, But kind of like Spider-Man, you don't ever want to be seen transforming into this other character. If you're at a party and people are going at it, you can't just go Shazam.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to see you.
Freak out, yeah.
So you got to run out of the room, Shazam, run back into the room. Hey, you. It's like, also very situational.
Where did he go? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But I feel like that's an interesting superpower. But
it's a very cool one. There's something to that, too, because I feel like if you had a superpower, obviously you want to help, and there's this light on you that everyone knows you, everyone sees you, and people start to expect it. It's like it's always sad when someone makes it big in life, whether they win the lottery or they get drafted into the NBA or something. And this happens all the time, where it's all of a sudden, hey, you remember me? We were best friends. It's like, you don't care about me. Like, you just want my $5 billion share of my lottery or something. Right. And all of a sudden, like, all these friends just come out of the woodworks. That would probably be the same thing with being a superhero. So with Shazam, being able to separate being just a kid
Yeah.
But then also having the, I mean, it's amazing to have this superhero power is why it's called a superpower. But have that separate from your life as well.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. You get to live a normal Hannah Montana.
Yes, there you go.
Like,
yeah.
I always wonder, I'm like, why don't you just tell everyone at school you're Hannah Montana?
Right.
You're gonna be the coolest kid at school. You're gonna get all the A's. Like
Yeah.
you get to do whatever you want. But then you think about it, you're like, no, it actually makes sense. You get to live your life, and then here's kind of this side life that you still enjoy, but they're not clashing.
Right.
So that's I like that. That's a cool answer.
And just something real cute about Shazam. Also, like, this is just such a simple benefit that you get from the superpower. He can go get beer whenever he wants. And in the movie, they don't card him. He just like transforms into Shazam outside of a gas station, walks in, gets beers, walks out. He unshazams, and then he has beers now for all of his friends. That's awesome.
That's so cool. Once that kid's in high school, he will be like, that's a real superpower right there. Yeah.
Hell, he doesn't even need to be Shazam to be the most popular dude in school. He just, hey, that's Billy Batson. He come with the beers.
Yeah.
I don't know how he gets them.
We don't know.
But he would get invited to every party.
Yeah.
He would be the most popular guy.
Yeah. So you could use that power and still don't know. People still don't know you're Shazam.
Right. What superpower would you go with?
Yeah, as far as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you said this. Yeah, I could fly. I could run super fast. I could be a super soldier like Captain America. Flying is cool because for me, there's this element of travel. Like I can, for free, go to Colombia or anywhere in Europe or see places that I've never seen before, or if I'm having a long day. I've had urges where I'm like, you know what? I want to go off for the weekend, just sit on top of a mountain, nothing, nobody, just me and nature. And flying would let me do that. I could just fly to a random point and be there and then head back home. So that actually would be kind of cool. Now that I think about it. I was describing flying, but that's actually cool. I don't know. I think for me, I shared that same feeling of being invisible for similar reasons. It's also just cool. I feel like for me to be like a Festus where I could literally just solve any problem for myself, but really for everyone else. Like I can see people in the toughest situation and they are, from a financial standpoint, they're in debt, and I can find this way to say, all right, here's how I can help you get out of debt, or whatever the case is. Like, and that's such a silly example, but that would be a pretty cool power too. Just being able to solve problems.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be. Look, this world's filled with problems. That would be sick.
Yeah.
So leave the earth better than when I found it.
There you go. And I think that could come from a lot of things. Like maybe you're just ultra resourceful, and therefore you're able to help. Maybe inadvertently solve problems, or you can actually like hook people up with the resources they need to solve said problems. And then there's also like maybe there's always that character on the team who's the smart one.
Yeah.
Not like physically big brain bulging out of their forehead, but like no, this guy just has an extremely high intellect.
Yeah.
And that can make you also then become an Iron Man like figure because you're smart enough to figure out such a suit.
Sure.
You also then have the resources that we previously established. Or you're just an incredible shot caller for the team. You might be the guy who's behind the scenes, maybe not in the front lines, but like without that, the team's nothing.
You're the guy with the headset.
Yes.
Yeah. Barking plays.
Now this is an interesting one that I was thinking about. As you started talking, my own brain was going, why didn't I say shapeshifter? Shape-shifting is an awesome power as well. And then as you were still talking, I was also thinking about in my head, that's also like probably one of the worst superpowers. If we're going on like it sounds cool, 100%. Like I would love to transform into Drake so we can get extra views right now. And then on this episode of UOMO, Alan interviews Drake.
Yeah.
Instant view boost.
Instant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But then, well, Vincent, who would you want in the next podcast? Like, who else would you want me to turn into?
Oh,
who else would get his views? Okay, The Weeknd. Name another one.
Ronaldo.
Okay, name another one. These are all good
Biden,
ones.
Joe Rogan,
Right? Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Let's see who else I would.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg. That would just be an
Okay.
interesting one.
That would be super interesting. These are all good ones.
Yeah.
So the episode where I turned back into Vincent,
Mm.
no views. Everybody's like, yo, bring on so-and-so. So now, when you're not shape-shifting, you get zero applause. Everybody's clapping when you're said person.
Yeah.
But when we show up, hey, what's up, guys? You're like, yeah, that's great. But like, can you turn into this person instead? That'd be way more cool.
Yeah.
I got some friends to impress.
We saw that in a dark sense with The Boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the cabin scene.
The cabin scene.
And then it's actually really sad. Yeah, it's super sad. It's like, no, can you go back to that person? And then someone's like, what about me?
What about me?
What about me?
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I think there's always that dark side to many superpowers.
Yeah.
You know, you fly. Okay, well then you never have the joys of getting on a plane and like, I don't know, you would take something like that for granted every time. Like, going on a plane's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, there's all those things. So.
Yeah, or the I'm sure this would be like the guy who can solve all the problems but can't solve his own.
Right.
There's always something. There's always something.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always something with. I mean, it makes the character interesting, but there's always got to be something.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, you might be like the strongest guy alive, but maybe you're not like the strongest willed. Maybe like muscles short.
Yeah.
There's always that one thing.
Yeah.
So
He can fly, but he can't swim. So you throw him in water.
This is like out the pocket 'cause I don't think this exists. A person who is never hungry. Like, I don't know how that works, that your body just creates all the nutrients and stuff you need. I don't know how you can just create sustenance like that, but this would probably be X-Men territory where it would be like a mutation that creates this, but like you're never hungry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you'd be saving so much money.
I was gonna say that as a college student, that is a superpower
Yeah.
right there. Oh my goodness, my bank would love that.
Oh my gosh.
I think X-Men would probably be one of the more realistic,
Yeah.
if superheroes existed, kind of twist to your question of if we had superheroes nowadays. Because I mean, mutations exist.
You seen the movie Logan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's an X-Men character named Caliban who's in that, and now in Logan he has a different power, but when the X-Men were originally created, his superpower was he was an albino.
That's it.
That there was a mutation, and that's his power. Interesting, right?
Did they give him any like? Could he do?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, hey, sure. I mean, it's not no disrespect. It's just like I don't know. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think they would have? You're an albino. You can't go out in the sun, but you got razor sharp teeth or something. I don't know. Like,
something.
Yeah. You got rippling abs. Nope. You can't go out in the sun.
That's it. Like, okay.
So it is interesting. Then there's another one, and have you seen Deadpool 2 by chance?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a great one.
So Zazie Beetz, she plays a character Domino, and her power is just luck. She's just lucky.
Yeah.
And I love that. There's a scene where like this entire burning building's collapsing, and it collapses on everybody but her because she's just lucky like that.
Yeah.
And in many ways, there's always those people that are just incredibly lucky. You can't prove it they're lucky; they just are.
They just are.
And X-Men, they're like, well, okay, that would be a superpower. Yeah. But for us, it's like, oh, it's just random coincidence.
Yes.
So yeah, X-Men for sure. I definitely agree with you on that. That would be the closest thing yet, because in their book of standards, it can just be one little thing like that, and it counts.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right.
If lucky kind of put me down a little rabbit hole.
Let's do it.
With still with superpowers. Not to say that the flying or super fast or anything that is intangible. I hope that maybe one day that's possible. But as of right now, not possible. What would be like a human superpower? What I mean by that is perhaps instead of maybe lucky, you have, this is so lame, but like an emotional intelligence, or you have an ability to just be so calm under pressure that anything can happen and you're relaxed. There's that one trait maybe that you would put into a superhero, a human super trait to put into a superhero if we were building, let's say we're building Homelander or something.
Yeah.
Keep, this will make sense, but like Captain America, for example, they wanted him, not his super. Like they found him and his human ability of the willpower.
I love this.
And the grit, and just he's respectful, and he's kind, and he cares for others. He's compassionate. He's a fighter, but he doesn't. He's selfless, but he doesn't let other people get bullied. Like all those things, and then they make him a superhero.
Exactly.
You see Homelander who has all these superpowers, but he's so flawed because he doesn't have the superhuman traits.
Right.
So I guess if you could pick one trait, doesn't have to be too long, but you would put into a superhero that's human, that we all have from maybe an emotional standpoint or whatever. What would you put in there?
Something that I wish we didn't have is the ability of fatigue.
Of what?
Of fatigue.
Oh, fatigue.
Dude,
fatigue.
If you could create a superhero that just is never tired, and I guess this would be like an android probably.
Sure.
But like somebody who just stays up all night just like studying their enemy, or I guess in many ways Taskmaster from Marvel Comics is kind of like that. But this character that just is always up late, just grinding on the mission or trying to beat the villain or something. That could be really interesting. But as far as something that we exist, that like, hey, let's put this into a superhero, maybe they up it, they take trying to think of like the controls and they push it up to the max of his power. Something that we have.
Yeah, it's like in the 2K player, it's like or for soccer, it's like pace +2.
+2.
Yeah. Loyalty +7, something like that.
For some people in life, the reason that they're able to get by, the reason that they have friends, the reason it's a certain quality that people have that makes them infinitely more likable if they're funny.
Funny, yeah.
And if it's been joked throughout time that there's, certain women will get with guys just because they're funny, and things like that. There's superheroes that are funny. Ant-Man, going back to him, he's a big one, right? Deadpool. But I don't think it's anybody's superpower is humor.
Yeah.
Imagine like this villain who's, I'm gonna destroy you, Humor Man.
Humor Man.
And Humor Man comes with the classic.
Hey, Kevin Hart.
Right? And he says something.
We have plenty of Humor Men in this world. That's
this is true. And he says something, and the supervillain like can't stop laughing, and he can't even do his evil maniacal plan.
That would be crazy.
Because again, and also maybe he doesn't kill Humor Man because he's like, I can't kill you. You're way too likable.
Yeah.
You're way too funny.
Yeah.
Why would the king kill the jester? Like
I was about to say, that's pretty much a jester. Why would you get rid of the jester?
Yeah. And then I guess you do have, now this is where things take a turn. Well, you have super villains like Joker. Okay, but it's like that dark humor, and like you can see how it drives Batman crazy.
Yeah.
I'm saying somebody who is undeniably funny that it makes both the heroes and the villains laugh. So it's like, you can't kill this dude. He's too funny to kill.
Yeah.
I think humor is something that you see in superheroes often, but I want it to be the sole basis of it. They have nothing but just that one thing. I think that'd be cool.
That would be a very interesting. Wow, I guess that you took that a cool way, actually.
Well, thanks. Do you have any that you could think of off the rip?
For not even just to put this into a superhero, just to have this or amplify it.
Yeah.
Would just be. There's so many different like traits that come to my mind. Characters is a huge one. And that is just having integrity to yourself. I think that's huge. And being able to amplify that, then you can just go into any situation and you're yourself. And I know that's a very silly example. I think there's so many different things that happen in life that try to pull at you and who you are as a person. And
Yeah.
I'm the first one to admit I am one that would falter. You know, like I will break my mold sometimes because it's just human. So if I could amplify that, just be myself the entire time and have have true integrity to my values and my morals, to me that'd be awesome, because there's so many moments where sometimes I find myself, this got deep, but I find myself like kicking myself because I'm like, why did I say that? Like that's not who I am. I know that's not who I am. I'm upset at myself for doing that. I mean, I can learn and not do it again, but it's like, I didn't have to deal with that. I just stuck with who I was morally and with my integrity. Like that would be pretty cool. And then I think Captain America is one of those that embodies that from a superhero perspective as well.
Yeah.
He's a cool one. The more, just this episode alone, the more I like him. So I know he's one of your favorites, and I've known him as Captain America. But now I'm like, okay, yeah, he's very cool.
Yeah, the greatest line that I think just encapsulates Captain America. You were talking about why they found him, why give him the serum, and they said it's because of him.
Yeah.
Not that him plus serum is good. It's because of him. And it's that classic line. Stanley Tucci plays that doctor, and they're sitting in like the little army camp in his bedroom, and bed in bed, and he's giving him a drink, although he can't drink it because the test tomorrow, and he's like, why pick me? And he's like, well, let's say we give strength to a man that already knows strength. Well, he doesn't understand the gift of that strength.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take somebody who's a good man who doesn't know strength and you give him strength, he now understands and knows not to take that power for granted. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. So I think throughout this entire conversation, we were talking about why aren't there superheroes? Okay, if we had superheroes, or if we were superheroes, what powers would we want? And then on top of that, we were also looking at what attributes that we already given that have superheroes, and we were giving away we were kind of peeling back from the cliche of it all. But we're talking about all these creation things. This is what we would do. I was thinking about God. And I almost texted you this because the other day I almost texted you just this crazy thought I had. And I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there.
I'm trying to loosely connect all this. What do you think God looks like?
Yeah, wow.
I just went into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And on top of that, because I feel like that could be an infinitely expanded upon thing, this is something I really want your thoughts on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we are all wearing in heaven?
In heaven?
Yeah. Not to say that we'll be in heaven, but like the people that are up in there, good for them.
Yeah, hey, yeah, props to them. They found it. They found it, yeah.
What are they wearing?
What are they wearing? Well...
And does God wear what they wear? Or is he on a pedestal that he wearing something different? But is that something God would actually do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I growing up, the first couple of grades I was in a private Catholic school called St. Jude. I always look back on it super fondly, amazing memories. And I believe it was second or third grade. And so obviously in private school, in a Catholic private school, you have your curriculum, you're doing your math, your English, your history, everything. And then there's the theology, class 2, that in public school you don't get. And as we're talking, my teacher one day, she goes, I know what God looks like. I have a picture of a God. And we're like it's this little kid, like, you're amazed.
Yeah.
So she's hyping this up for a couple weeks. And then the day happens where we are going to see what God looks like. And she starts pulling one kid up at a time. And so the way the classroom, just like any classroom, you walk in, and she had her desk in the right corner, and all of the desks for the students were in this left corner over here. So each student would be called one-on-one, and she'd be like, this is so special. Don't tell anyone else what he looks like so they can discover what he looks like for themselves. So we're all going up, single file, and eventually now it gets to my turn, and as these kids are seeing God, they are walking back, and I'm trying to see, like, they look like, some of them are amazed, some of them are like perplexed. Some of them have no emotion, whatever. They're kids. Now it's my turn. I get to see. I am so excited. So we walk back, and she has this cabinet. She puts her arm around me, opens the cabinet door, because this is where the picture is, and it's a mirror.
That's what I thought it would be.
Yeah. And it's a mirror, and that was it. I'm like, I look behind me, I'm like, where's she? Like, I see myself, I see you, where's she?
It's real funny, let me see her.
I was like, really? And I turn around, I'm like, really? She's like, look. And I'm like, what?
Made in his likeness.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh. That was eye-opening to me. And then my first thought of how God looked like was Brother Bear when the brother dies.
Oh.
And they're in like spirit hell,
the spirit
realm, whatever.
The eagles.
And they're showing up in this like majestic oral gold.
Northern Lights kind
UOMO
of thing.
gold. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I thought that's what God looked like. And then a couple years later, then I do this with class. So to answer your question, I guess he looks like a culmination of all of us.
Yeah.
I think people will probably like, well, what race is he? What gender? Well, he's a male, but I don't know. I don't know. That's something. But But I guess at the end of the day, if we're made in his likeness, I think for me sometimes that's all I need to know. Sure. All I need to know is he's the creator and whatnot. But
so to expand on that was a really nice story. I never knew that.
I totally forgot about that.
To expand on this, if he's made in our likeness,
We're made in his likeness?
What's our with? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Whoa, that was blasphemous. that was actually blasphemous. Holy cow! What you said, does that mean that he's dressing like us too, or what's going on there, man?
That's a great question.
Is he naked and is his dick or whatever he's slanging?
Whatever he's packing.
Is it smoothed over?
Yeah.
Like a Barbie doll, like you ever lift up?
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
Try this at home. You ever?
I had a sister.
Don't try this at home.
I had a younger sister, so yeah, growing up,
yeah,
like,
you get a little curious.
She's got the Barbie dolls. I'm like,
Whoop. Yeah. It's smoothed over.
It's smoothed over.
I always thought it was very disappointing.
Yeah, it would honestly at this point it would be very disappointing if there was something there.
Yes, I agree.
But at that point, it was very disappointing.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like a video game character.
Like, that's it.
It's it.
Yeah.
So is he smoothed over? Is he slanging? Is he covered up? Is he loinclothed up? Is he togaed up? Is he wearing a hoodie and sweats?
Dude, God in the outfit.
Oh, come on, son.
Yeah, he's got some off-white.
Right?
Come on.
Yeah, dude.
You know he's
God in the Yeezys.
Maybe he's Versace himself. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be? He's the guy to love. The guy to love is, well, he's just the God.
He's the God.
He's the guy of everything.
I don't know. I'm interested because you said, is he wearing any clothes? Well, I mean, guess when Adam and Eve were first created on this earth, they weren't wearing anything until Eve ate the forbidden fruit and she saw, and then she immediately hit herself.
Yeah.
She became aware that like these body parts are forbidden to many respects, and now since then we've been wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I know there's some nudist communities.
Yeah, there's some nudist colonies.
Hey, no disrespect.
Where are those at?
I'm
trying to find them.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm chilling with clothes.
Are those even in the States?
I'm sure.
Nice.
Dude, there's some weird things in.
That's awesome.
We'd have to like find a list of the weirdest things in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm sure they exist. I'm sure there's some here in our very own state.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely.
There probably is.
I'm sure. So like maybe we don't have clothes. Like our perception of body parts are totally different in heaven.
Right. Yeah.
Or there's just this brand new like high-tech gadgets that they wear up there.
Yes. Yeah.
It's always up there.
It's always up there.
Why is it up there? What do you think?
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
Right? It's always up there and it's always down there.
I think let's look at this from a literary perspective. You have the exposition, the rising action, the climax, and then everything like just goes downward
Sure.
as it progressively gets less disappointing. Up there is the climax. That's awesome. That's this is the reason you're reading the novel. This is the reason you're playing the game of life, is to get up there.
Right.
And then I like resolution in my stories. That's why I'm a big fan of Dark Knight Rises. That's my favorite 3. I think the way that they wrap up everybody's stories is so beautiful.
So I've been struggling with these 24 movies.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, I need concrete.
I
I'm okay with some things floating around up to interpretation, but I need something.
I think The Lamb was the only one we've watched where there really is.
You don't know where it's going.
Oh. I would say I feel like that's one that has like legit resolution.
You know what?
To
it does have resolution. I think for me, it does have legit resolution. You're right.
They say this is exactly why this has been going on.
Yes. No, you're right.
But then at the same time, it's like, well, why does that thing even exist? Where does this thing come from?
Right.
Okay.
But anyway,
I liked where you went with that. This is absolutely true. That's definitely, that's a topic in itself.
Yeah, we have to talk about that.
We do talk about that. We were doing an A24 movie marathon.
Yeah.
We are four deep.
4, yeah.
4 deep, which is, when you're sitting down watching these things, it feels like it's a lot more than 4.
We've been seeing, and that too, we've also been seeing, we've done 2 like sit downs to watch a movie. So we've done 2 back to back each time. So it's a little even more.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so climax, that's way up there, and then it just gets kind of like disappointing again.
Right.
And I feel like as you go down that slope of disappointment, you end up, hell's pretty disappointing.
Right.
So
I don't want to be. So I hear. Yeah.
I've been hearing things. Hell sucks.
Yeah. I would hate being there. Yeah. Jeez. Speaking of global warming, gosh.
Jeez.
But so that answers my question. I guess I don't want to dive too deep here, but you went like this and you go disappointing. Like, oh, disappointing. Why does the word disappointing have a connotation, like negative means, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, climax, great, good, like you just think of it being up.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like disappointing, bad, foul, malicious. I can keep going on with synonyms of negative things that if I were to say down or up, like, how about this? I'm going to say a word and you say down or up. How you feel?
Okay, let's do it.
Splendid.
Up.
Gross.
Down.
Okay, that's it. And that's all I needed to prove.
Yeah.
Like there's something.
Yeah,
there's something there.
That's
I wonder why.
That's a great way of putting it, man. I mean, I think this is blasphemous. I think the best thing that a human can do exists up here.
Yeah.
I mean, also the worst things imaginable also come from here.
True.
But I think not much good happens below the abdominal. And I feel like a lot of good happens above the abdominal.
Yeah.
This might make no sense. But in my head, this is making sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
Another example of up is good, down is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
That's all I had.
Thank you for adding. Thank you to adding to my point that I'm making here.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I
just realized though every bad thought, every bad thing that happens below initially had to come from here first. So.
That's true.
You know what?
My knees they hurt a lot. I do complain about them a lot.
Okay.
So to your point, yeah, everything down here is terrible.
I was trying to give you a nice alley-oop there.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to give you an alley-oop to your alley-oop. Maybe, I think at the end of the day, it's just you just accept it as fact. Heaven is up.
Yeah.
I don't really want to dive into the why.
Going back to airplanes, I was very confused when I took my first airplane ride. I was like, "Where's heaven?"
Oh, yeah.
So clearly, that's part of the scenic route of an airplane. Mm-hmm. Did we already pass through it, or is it above us even more?
What part of the ozone layer
is heaven?
Yeah. Right. Where is this? What stratosphere? It's a great question.
My mom said, "Well, honey, just like Santa Claus, like just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist." And I'm like, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's just, where's it at?
Trust me, I've been up there. I didn't see dick. I didn't see anything.
I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm just saying it's not here.
I just don't see it. This is so funny. I think I've
God.
had moments like that too,
Yeah.
where you're up above the clouds, and you're like, all right, there's nothing else up here.
Yeah.
There's the ISS and the moon.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, my mom just should have fibbed and said, "Yeah, honey, only the people in first class can see it," just to keep me guessing on my luck.
Oh my god, dude, that would be such a like oh my gosh, it'd be like a sci-fi movie almost. Like the people in first class can only see heaven. Something like that, you know? It's like,
come on, son, I like that. I like that.
I feel like that's like almost any utopian book. The high class gets. Only the high society get to fly their private jets.
Well, that's like right now. Only like the richest people alive get to go take a trip to up into the space. Like Tom Cruise is going to space. I don't know if you saw that. And
is he really?
Like, yeah,
Tom Cruise is?
Tom Cruise.
Okay.
So like up there with Virgin Mobile homie and everybody
Oh
else.
yes.
So
Gosh,
it's like,
what's his name? You can see his hair. You can see him. His long white hair. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So it's like, maybe seeing heaven's only for the rich too. I don't know.
Well, it's like that one episode, and we see this throughout so many different TV shows and movies. But like that one episode in Loki where that planet is getting essentially destroyed by asteroids.
Yes.
And all the rich get to get onto the ship, the
Yep.
one ship that it's the leave Earth, and everyone else just up yours. I guess you're in trouble.
Up yours.
Up yours.
Oh my god.
Or down yours in this sense. I gotta use that more.
Up yours, yeah, I like that.
Up yours is underrated.
It is. That's
Hey, mister, up yours. And get cut off in traffic.
Up my what, young man?
A young man.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see heaven.
Yeah.
That's really what this comes down to. Yeah.
It's so interesting because it's like
It's up there.
it is up there.
And they say people can they're looking at you from a window. Well, if it's above where the airplane's looking at, that must be a damn good telescope God's given everybody. When you get to heaven, you get the swag bag of your new drip, your new heaven outfit, and probably like a telescope.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably like the two things you're handed, because everybody has windows in heaven. And like if you're up in a plane, you look out that little window. You've heard the window seat?
Yeah.
Okay, you can't see
I fight for that seat.
I'm fighting for my window seat life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially those long flights when you gotta sleep.
Exactly.
Window seat.
So you not only do you need a telescope that can penetrate all of the clouds, but also to see all the way down.
Yeah.
It must be good at telescopes. God must have his own elves up there making all these, or he's just doing one of these Doctor Strange things and creates
Is
it.
God Elvis or Elvis? Why did I say Elvis? Is he Elvis? Honestly, he is God Santa. With his elves, with his angels.
With his angels.
Well, I would probably say it's up somewhere.
Yes.
Not up yours.
Not
somewhere.
yours. Yeah, somewhere.
There's this really interesting YouTube video that I saw, and I say this to explain my theory on where heaven is. It's not that big. It's not that big or mind blowing. To me, it's just in this other realm, this other place that we just cannot see, but it is there. And to me, this video opened my eyes. It is. I don't know physics too well.
Yeah.
It's Einstein, and this is physics professor explaining this phenomenon that Einstein sort of discovered and theorized about. And it's this extra realm, or this extra element, if you will, that it's not just gravity that's at play. So there's this camera that's pointed down at where the physics professor is, and say his table's right here. He has this table, and in the middle, just like our bungee chair, like if you would think of that, actually think about the bungee chair. There's this ring that acts like a table, and then there's this cloth that's stretched all around the outskirts of that table. So if you were to push your hand down, it would go back and forth because it's a cloth and it's kind of bouncy.
Yeah.
So what he's talking about is Einstein's concept of gravity. And if you think of the solar system, you think of the sun and all the other planets that are rotating around it. And that's really on the element and aspect of gravity. They are pretty much stuck around because of the sun's gravitational pull.
Yeah.
So again, we have a camera from above, and we have a camera here that we are watching. So we get to see this table here. And he says, all right, let's see this heavy bowling ball, and let's say that's the sun. It's such a heavy mass. Let's put it in the middle. So he puts it into the table, and because it's the way that the table is, the way that fabric is, it bends it like that. It's so heavy, it bends the fabric. Okay. Think of like the fabric of space and time, right? It bends that fabric. From above, again, all we see is this ball, like in the middle. You don't see the bend. You just see the ball. And then he gets this tennis ball, and he says, now watch this. He rolls the tennis ball into that fabric, and naturally, since there's a bend, if you think of like putting a dice down a spinner or a toilet bowl, you think it kind of rolls down.
Yeah.
The tennis ball is following that bend of that heavy bowling ball. And so from above, all we see is this big ball and this little one going around it. That's what we see in the solar system. Like, that's all we see. We just see that. But from our perspective, we see this extra dimension almost of that fabric being bent.
Yes.
To me, that was just like mind-boggling. I don't know why I just explained the gravitational physics that I don't truly understand, but I have to send you it. It is, to me, it was so eye-opening. I'm like, wow, there is so much more play in our lives, in our world, that we don't know about.
Right.
And, there's always these, like, a hurricane happens, and you see all the devastation, and you're like, why did this happen, God?
Yeah.
And I feel like my mom has always told me, well, we don't know. He has a purpose for everything. But he just destroyed, can't he just stop the hurricane? And my mom was always like, well, there's a reason for everything, and there's things that we can't see or comprehend that God does.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be my answer 10 minutes later. This is in another realm.
Sure.
That we can't see
from this perspective.
From our perspective.
Sure. Yeah, I do like that. The way I've always envisioned heaven is, and it might not be as such of a scientific answer as yours, but it's just things that my brain connected and made sense. It was, well, there's angels that Mary physically saw when they said, hey, you're going to bear the child of Christ. Okay. But there's not many depictions of angels in the Bible. We hear about people that became saints. We hear about the disciples. There's not many depictions of angels. But in some that there are, they've also depicted angels, think of a guardian angel. It's like, it's there, but you also can't see it.
Right. That used to terrify me.
Right.
I'm like...
Well, going back to the Santa Claus element, kind of like Santa Claus. Yeah. He knows if you're naughty or nice.
Where?
Did he bug this house? Where are the cameras? Yeah. And it's like...
You get the Ring doorbell?
The Ring doorbell. He just knows.
Yeah.
He just knows. And for many years, I actually wondered if, Santa and Christ work together. You know what I mean? Because, sure it makes sense.
A little joint venture.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Selling data. He's selling our data.
Well, Johnny was a pretty nasty kid this Christmas. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe he's not going to make it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Tentative. He's tentative.
So, yeah, I mean, with that there's angels that we're said are there, but they're not physically, they're next to you, but they're not, we can't see them. Okay, maybe it's the same thing with heaven.
Sure.
In a way. So, this isn't Wakanda where there's a force field that, you can't see it's actually there. No, it's a little bit more interdimensional than that.
Sure.
But then the other concept that always made sense to me, and this goes back all the way to the original question of, what are we wearing in heaven? What does God look like?
Oh, yeah.
Alan, I'm about to hit the button. Are you ready for this button I'm about to hit? It's the button that I hit every episode. Are you ready?
Here's the button. All right, hit it.
Star Wars button going.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I just pressed it. So here comes the Star Wars rant. Bear with me. In Star Wars, there's these things called Force Ghosts. Let's look at the end of Kenobi where Qui-Gon shows up. Qui-Gon says, I was always here, you just weren't ready to see me yet. Bam, there's that.
That's cool.
It's like God signs, right?
Yeah.
Like they're always there, just maybe you're not looking for them. But we always say like, oh, that's a sign from God. So there's that. The second thing is there's a 4-episode arc at the very end of Clone Wars season 6. Before Clone Wars was revived for season 7, these were known to be the last 4 episodes, and they are some of the greatest 4 episodes to have ever existed in anything Star Wars ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the Yoda arc. And they follow Yoda and how Yoda learns to become a Force ghost. This is mere impossible concepts to explain to a kid, and I gotta show you at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's such a big concept in Star Wars, and it's the first time where Qui-Gon reaches out to Yoda, and how does Yoda do this? And what it is it's so amazing because obviously in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the Jedi and the Sith. The Sith destroy the Jedi. Jedi lose. But then you look back at that episode of Clone Wars, which is the last thing we got before Revenge of the Sith. Mm-hmm. Now they've kind of changed that around a little bit. It's so spine-tingling. So it's like, wait a second, no, but Yoda learned about this hope. Yeah. We know Luke's coming. It's like that little teaser right before the greatest storm of all time that things are going to be okay. And Yoda follows these things called the Force of the Wills, which are these giant puppets of the Force that teach him how to become okay. And it's that classic concept they're always there, but you just didn't really know they're there. And so that's how I've thought about heaven. But to go back to the original question of what do people wear, it's like a Force ghosts. The end of Episode 6 of Return of the Jedi, they show Anakin, and he just died as Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
But he's wearing the clothes of Anakin Skywalker when he was a Jedi. Then you look at Yoda. Yoda just died, and he's wearing those exact same clothes. So that's already 2 big differences. And then Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan's had a giant history of what he's worn, and it's what he wore when he died.
Mm-hmm.
So why is Anakin wearing something different from where everybody else died? Okay. Well, the longest going theory, and this is that of my own, because it's never been explained. Well, when they died, it was when they were the most pure as a Jedi. Not just when they were a Jedi, when they were the most pure.
Sure.
When they did their last good thing or their most greatest thing. I can go through each Jedi and point to why that exact outfit that Anakin wore, that's when he did the greatest thing as a Jedi and so on and so forth. Okay, not worth about getting into all of it. I feel like in heaven, what we wear, can't believe I'm saying, I've been so blasphemous this episode. Can't believe what I'm about to say.
The blasphemous counter, bro, is...
Oh, it's stupid. It is stupid, yeah. Can't believe what I'm about to say. I stake my life as to what we wear in heaven is all because of what the Force ghosts. I feel like whenever we did something where we were just at our most holy,
sure,
that's either what we're wearing or that's what we look like in heaven. Because when you die, is that what you look like? Are you permanently wrinkled if you died at like 90-something? While all the other kids are out there running, are you like, hey, wait up, and you're like on your heaven cane.
You pop up into heaven, and you're like, oh, this is great. Let me test out my knee. No, it still hurts. Come on. Now it's my other knee.
Right?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It's like what age? And it's like I don't know if there is any set age. I guess maybe when you're at your most holy.
I feel like
it's a tough one.
The power of technology, right? Well, I have Google Photos. I think you and I have gone through my Google Photos before. Like I'm showing you different memories or whatever. And for me, it's so interesting to look back on pictures and videos of myself that I've probably been doing Google Photos since junior year of high school. So that's 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Wow,
that's insane. That's 5 years. So that's a long time. That's a lot that I have gone through in life, and I have grown and matured, and I mean, there's just a lot that happens in 5 years for anybody. But then also, for some reason, I get these pictures and videos from my dad from like 2010, 2005, 2002 of me. And Google Photos has this really cool thing of being able to facial recognition and saying that's you.
Yeah.
How do you know that's me at 2 years old? I don't look totally different. It's fascinating. I'm going into this because as much as I've grown, as much as I've matured, and how different I look at 2 years old to now, being 22, so 20 years different, I watch these videos of myself, and I'm fascinated because I'm like, that's me. That's still me. Like that is still Alan. It's for me, it's mind-boggling. I'm watching video of me freshman year. That's a long time ago, and we're pretty similar. I've grown and I've probably matured in many ways, but I'm making this silly like face that I'm like, I just did that. I just made that face.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And for me, I go on all of this because it's like that's still Alan, no matter what stage of my life. And I know sometimes for other people, there's this major event in their life that changes them, but at the end of the day, they're kind of the same person, sort of.
Yeah.
So it's like this. That's the soul. That's my soul. That's my being. That's not Alan at 22. That's not Alan at 5. That's Alan. That's my being. So that like for me, I just picture like it's interesting. I feel like it's different for every person. Because if I were to bump into you in heaven, what's up, bro?
It was something.
You would see me probably your favorite memory of Alan. But then if I, the same being, then floated over to my mom, she would see me maybe as the 5-year-old Alan. But that same being floated over to my grandpa. That's the memory of that I have of him. I didn't know him at 20. I knew him at this age. That's what I see him as. So I feel like it's almost like maybe you kind of just see everybody for what you remember them as.
I like that. I really do. Similar to how if one of our loved ones were to pass here on Earth, what does everybody remember them as?
Yeah.
Probably, whether it be good or bad, they're remembered typically by a few certain qualities amidst hundreds that they probably had.
Sure.
Interesting that also then kind of transfers to heaven a little bit.
Maybe,
probably
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my vague answer of saying that's
works.
what we wear in heaven. I wear whatever Vincent thinks of Alan as wearing.
Alan in his soccer jerseys and his Adidas sweatpants. The nice Taylor joggered ones with the zippers.
Yes, just the nice zippers.
And some white shoes. We're always rocking those white shoes before everybody else was doing them white shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They weren't the coolest, but they were white.
They were always white.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, this was fun.
Yeah, this was a blasphemous, somewhat philosophical, but all around just it was a fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably certain explanations for a lot of this, but the cool thing, we're both pretty close on our faith and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't ever hope for these talks to come across as blasphemous, but it is kind of fun talking about the things that there is so much mystery surrounding. And one of the most joyous things that I find in religion, the mystery in the unexplained.
Yes.
To me, there are so many things that are so unexplainable that there can only be one answer, and that is God,
Yeah.
And obviously the goal is one day we'll find out about these things.
Yes.
But, whenever we do find out, we can't then hop on this sofa and create an episode explaining it.
Yeah.
It's that you'll find out when it's time, and you'll find out when you get there.
We could have been podcasters on Spirit Tube.
We really
Angel Tube.
Angel Tube. Well, there's those things out there. It's like, well, hope Kobe Bryant's playing basketball in heaven.
Yeah.
There has to be basketball in heaven.
I'm sure.
Because, heaven's what? All the greatest things ever? It's all up there, It wouldn't be depicted as such a... You gotta see it to believe it if it wasn't all that great.
Right.
And, so there has to be podcasts up there, too.
I'm sure. There's these really cool murals of... it's for sports, but it's for, it could be applied to anything. Kobe Bryant passed away. and this person made this super, and you probably saw this super cool picture of all the great NBA players that have passed away, and they're welcoming him to heaven, and they're all like, it's Kobe playing basketball with Bill Russell.
I love that. Yeah.
They did the same thing when Diego Maradona passed away a couple years ago. For all the great soccer players that, and it's very touching. Like they're hopefully still doing what they love, with those whom they love.
I love that.
So it's very. I do picture myself when I hopefully get to heaven, waiting my turn, obviously. But when I get my time with God, I'm gonna have a whole list of, all right, God, this happened in my life, or this happened in world history. What actually happened? You know, like, explain this. Cause did we actually get to the moon? I don't know. Let me know. Like that'd just be the wild how amazing it is, and just sitting there with awe. It's crazy. It's like, it's unbelievable. You have these professors that are talking, and you're like, yeah, they know what they're doing about accounting. Yeah, they know what they're doing about, marketing. But when God speaks, I won't have any question in my mind. Oh, that is beyond fact.
That is fact.
That is like, I don't even know what's beyond fact.
Big
that
facts.
is big facts. That's big facts. God is gonna be spitting up there.
He's gonna be flowing.
He will be flowing.